Hey, what's going on, Patreon guys? Coming here with the first look gameplay impressions. There are three things that I clipped out for you guys just to take a quick look at the new hot routes. I thought this was interesting, so I'm going to play this right now for you.
A speed out where it used to be a regular out. The post replaced the streak route. So the outside receiver now, you're going to see a speed out where it used to be a regular out. The post replaced the streak, and now zig has been removed, and now you can run a corner route. The slot receiver now gets a post route where it used to be a fade, and they get a corner route where it used to be a zig. For tight ends, a post route replaced the delayed fade.
Okay, so for that first one, I'm assuming that's inside receivers and outside receivers. No more zig routes. So people who used to base their offense off of zigs every play, that's dead. Also, it looks like there's no more fade route. So people that, instead of running a regular streak, people will run fades because they got better releases off the line of scrimmage. So that's gone. It looks like you can now add in a corner route, which is good. I think that's actually good because corner routes is a big part of every offense. And let's look at the other positions.
Replaced the block and release cross, and a corner route now replaces what used to be block and release flat. Halfbacks got new hot routes as well, so the flat route replaced.
Okay, so the tight end got rid of that block and release vertical route. That was pretty cheesy. The block and release flat probably just wasn't effective, so they added in something that was a little bit better.
This is what used to be wheel, and a triple option now replaces what used to be a check and release.
Okay, so that's pretty big. No more wheels. That's huge. And I'm happy for it. As a sim representative, we do not need people putting their halfbacks on wheels every play. That was one of the most annoying things last year. And I won't go into detail on that. So that's a good thing. And the triple option route is realistic football. That's one of the most common routes that you see run in the NFL. Okay. All right. So the next thing I kind of went to was the whole thing. What is this one? Oh, so this is kind of a negative in my opinion. The return of jumping linebackers.
That's up, so you can throw it faster. It's a little bit lower trajectory. This year, the return of jumping linebackers. Linebackers can jump, so you want to make sure.
I know Mike is probably happy to hear about linebackers jumping.
You're going to want to utilize the fact that it's now you can get more arc on a lob or a touch pass.
All right.
Your signature, Patty.
Okay, so that's really bad, man. Jumping linebackers are unrealistic. Linebackers cannot jump in the middle of the field. I liked it that they had it was set up so linebackers with abilities can do it. The linebackers with non-abilities, which is the majority of linebackers, cannot do it. So this is a big change, but hopefully the counter is the whole thing with the trajectory of the pass. We'll see how that goes, okay? And then the last thing was just a little bit of a confirmation of just how the game moves and what kind of moves are going to be OP this year. But more importantly, I thought it was real interesting that the developer talked about last year, jukes were warped. But when you look at the highlights and you look at the pictures, the defense is still getting warped, but I guess it's not as bad. So let's just take a look at this one.
How do those new skill moves feel compared to last year?
Perfect. It's more like not only like do they like work like really well, but like it's more realistic. Like last year we had the juke where you went like crazy inside and stuff. Now like this is like moves you really see on the field.
To that point, I mean the juke that everyone loved. I like that people liked it, but it's a little bit unrealistic, a little bit warpy. And we just wanted to replace that asset with something that looked more lifelike. And you still can get busy with it. You still can get open.
And those new skill moves.
Okay, so like you said, you still can get busy with it. You still can get open. So I think the juke is still there, but it's not going to look as silly. It's not going to look as arcadey, but it still works. And then I think the spin move, just like in NCAA or just like in college football, is still there. That's going to be a big play. I think overall mechanics is going to be really important to have some of the best backs in the game. They kind of made halfbacks important. All right, so I'm not going to go through all the gameplay, but I do want to just let me mute this one here in the background. I want to take a look at just a couple of the routes that I saw in the actual game footage.
Feel compared to last year.
Sorry about that. Let's just go into the actual full video and just take a look at some of the things that we saw from a coverage standpoint. And if you look at Henry's coverage, you can see that he plays a lot of three seam. Okay, that's like the number one coverage, as everybody knows by now. I'm pretty sure every YouTuber out there is talking about three seam is good. I talked about it when the beta dropped that the three seam was going to be the best coverage because of the ability to play match to 3x1. Okay, that's new this year, and that's going to be really good. All right, and in the actual stream, the developer, I guess his name is K Spade, said that they play skate or skinny. Okay, to bunch or to trips. So that's what's going on. If you guys don't know what that means, just go back and you can search on the internet exactly what it is. It's just a way to play 3x1 and play Rip Liz, which is a Saban word. Okay, so just taking a look at this though, it looks like he's playing a lot of three match. It's kind of hard here. I got to slow it down a little bit. You can tell that because the corners and the seam flat defenders are all playing a technique called mess, which means Meg accepts shallows, okay, or man accepts shallows, which basically means play your guy no matter what, unless he runs a shallow route. So on this side of the field, you're going to see this number one receiver come underneath. He's running a shallow. The corner is going to drop off and play thirds. Now, the one thing you need to understand is that when you run this coverage, it actually applies to everybody on that side of the field. So it doesn't mean that because number one ran in, that only the corner is going to play 1/3. Actually, the seam flat defender is also going to play his zone assignment, which in this case would be a curl flat. And the same thing with our linebacker or hook player. He's not going to match 3 to the flat if that happens. So just take a look at this right here. We're not going to go into too much detail. I don't want to make this video too long. But you can see how the seam flat defender right here is working up on the right of screen. He's working up to match to start, but then once he realizes that there is a shallow route, he's going to fall off and become a normal curl flat defender. And then watch how quickly he matches this. Let me kind of play it at normal speed. Okay, he matches and comes. I don't want to say matches, but he reacts back downhill pretty quick, a lot more quick than you see in the college football game. Okay, and that's that. Now there is something that's a little bit interesting though. Okay, we're all calling it mess because we all know what that means. It means people in the know. You guys have learned a new word from mod to meg to mess. It's a new way of playing coverage, right? When you play match coverage in the cover 3 system. However, if it was truly mess, okay, let me draw on the screen right here. If it was truly mess and the way it was in the beta when I played it, what you would get is actually these slant routes would be matched. And that's what happened in the beta, okay? Those are 3-step slants happening on that side of the field. But if you notice, those guys actually fall off and play zone to that side too. So I'm assuming that this is 3 match coverage. There's a chance it could be 3 sky, so I could be completely wrong. But I just think that when you see these seam defenders working inside and cover 3, usually that means it was some sort of match principle. If it wasn't, let me say it like this. These guys right here, and right here, because they're working inside to start, I'm thinking that they're going to think I need to match my guy. And then once they get some sort of route that tells them that, hey, I don't need to match, then they would kind of fall back out and play zone coverage. If this was actual regular zone, spot drop zone, like if you call 3 sky, these guys would just be buzzing out right now. They might get hands on 2 if there's a 2 to get hands on, but then you will see them get width, okay? So that's the big difference that I see. So I'm thinking that this is 3 match. However, I'm thinking overall, they actually might have taken away the whole mess rule, okay? And actually are using just regular standard cover 3 match rules where our seam defenders, okay, are going to let slants go, okay, as well as shallows, and then our outside defenders are going to play mod technique. They're going to basically only match anything that's outside and deep, okay? So that's my interpretation, and that's where I'm going with it for now. All right, let's just move ahead. Throughout the game, there was a lot of just silly gameplay from Micah Parsons, so he didn't give us a whole lot. He was taking his defensive end user player, himself, and dropping deep into coverage. So I wasn't sure what that was about. All right, but here's a quick example of how skinny kind of is supposed to look right here. So the main difference here that you can focus on is these 2 inside linebackers, okay, they're working over towards the number 3 receiver. This hook defender is going to work outside of 3, inside of 2. And this 3-up player, this is the backside hook, is working to get over to number 3. I don't know if you actually saw that route. Let me just go back just a little bit and slow it down for you. It's kind of hard to catch it sometimes. Okay. So there goes the formation. It was 3-by-1. You see how these two players, these two hook defenders are working towards this side. Now over here, this player here, okay, this is our seam flat player. He will match anything vertical and out. But however, number 2 is running, it looks like a pivot route. So again, that kind of goes into the category of, okay, hey, it's an inside breaking route. I kind of zone off. I'm not 100% sure, but I do know he's kind of sitting over here waiting for him to return. So that's the good thing. And I did notice in general, pivots were like locked down by playing 3-match in both Madden and also in college football. So that was good. All right. So that's that. I won't go into the backside of the coverage. It was pretty simple to look at. The other thing I'll tell you about is there's another coverage that was popping up a lot. I'm going to save that overall. I'm going to save that for later just to get a good feel for it. But I will say this, cover 2, it looks like you have the same situation where our vertical hook players may not be there in some of the cover 2s that you're used to. So you're either going to have to hot route them, okay, or call a different defense and kind of, work it out to make it into an actual cover 2. So just know that. I think that's going to be big. I couldn't really tell with pass rush. I talked about that because Micah Parsons was not letting one of the best pass rushers in the game actually rush the quarterback. And then the last thing was the switch stick. I saw a lot of switch sticking going on. If I can get one of these touchdowns right here, I think Micah threw a long bomb down the field. Here it goes. Okay. So here's an example coming up here where I'm not sure what the coverage is exactly, but I'm pretty sure that this corner right here is actually a deep defender, okay? Pretty sure of it, all right? I don't know if it's quarters. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. But you're going to see Henry click onto this guy because this combination is going to be like a sail combination, and he's going to try to come off and pick off the corner route because that's what most people throw, right? And you're going to see how his user makes this wide open streak open for a touchdown. Okay, watch it. There it goes. He clicked on it. You see, they even highlighted it. It's funny because when they're talking about this during the actual film, they're not actually saying why he was open. They were just saying, they were talking about something else. But whoever edited this film later was talking, I guess they were showing that he was on him. And then he clicked onto this guy. So that was just very interesting. If you listen to that, they don't even mention what happened, but they're actually showing you this is the reason why that was a wide open touchdown. Okay. So Henry was doing a lot of that and he was messing up a lot and everybody was getting hyped like Micah was doing something. Part of me felt like Henry was just giving him touchdowns and also trying to show off a new feature. We'll find out later when he does his own stream probably and breaks it down, all right? All right, guys, that's my overview right now. We need to see more gameplay, but just wanted to kind of give you some of those thoughts and see what you think. I'll definitely hit you up with any new content that drops soon, man. Talk to y'all later, man. Peace.